Okay, so today we're trying to discover if there are remains of extra framing or plaster differences or anomalies inside the walls in the parlor. The process we're using is called active reflective infrared thermography, which is a process of applying heat to an architectural structure and seeing how the heat is reflected back to the infrared camera. Point being, different architectural items reflect heat differently. So wood will show up differently than plaster. Plaster shows up differently than the wallpaper. And so you should be able to see those differences within a wall. And we're feeling our way here to find out exactly how long we need to leave the heat applied to the wall itself, because we're doing something new with not actually touching the wall with the heat blanket. We're actually only getting it within 3 inches of the wall. So that's different, and so we have no idea how long this is going to take before we actually get something, if we get anything at all. But we've already had we've looked at it at about 45 minutes in, and we've already had something show up. So we're hopeful that we'll at least get something. No, I mean, what we would like to see initially is a temperature raise, not much more than 4 to 7 degrees at the most. It doesn't have to get a whole lot hotter in order for something to actually show up. But the what we found now in more than one test is you get an initial raise in the temperature, and then it levels out and maybe even drops a little, but that doesn't seem to affect the amount of, and that's on the surface of the wall, not the interior of the wall. So that doesn't seem to affect the degree of successfulness we have in getting information from the wall. After the temperature dropped here, we actually were able to pick up a few things in the wall. So it doesn't seem to matter if it drops a little, and we were only getting a difference of maybe 4 degrees. So it doesn't have to be much for us to get something. It depends on what depends on what's there. There may be nothing there. It's hard to say. Changes in plaster. And that's a question that I'm going to be trying to figure out myself, because it's the first time I've been looking for plaster changes in walls. But I would think that it would have to be a sizable patch to the plaster, or maybe a large crack or something like that would show up, or additional framing maybe used to support heavy items hung on the wall. So that's the two main things that, if there is anything, that's what we would see. We should be able to get metal too, even though you've already done a metal study. So that's probably not all that helpful, but we could conceivably get metal in there also, because it would definitely be a different temperature, or would transmit heat differently than wood and plaster did. Once we take the blanket down, then we start taking images, and because the camera we have has a very small lens on it, we have to take it in very methodical sections, so down the road we can edit those pictures together into a whole wall, and that way we can get a larger picture of what we're actually seeing. So we'll take the segmented pictures, we'll take digital pictures as well, and then we'll move on to this wall, see what we can find on that one. It's up for grabs. I mean, it really is. That's the nice part about this type of testing is it isn't boring. You really are going to find something different every time, and you really don't know. Even though you may have some sort of idea of what you're going to find, you really don't know if you're going to find anything or not. I mean, I found things in places I thought for sure I wouldn't find things, and I have not found things where I was sure I would. Part of it is the temperature conditions, but part of it also is there's nothing to find. Almost none of it. The camera, what you see in the viewfinder of the camera is small and cluttered with a lot of other stuff on it, and it's like the first point. And then you go and you download them onto a computer, and there's software that comes with the camera, and you spend a lot of time editing it, messing with the interpretation that you can get out of those temperature readings. And sometimes you see nothing at all when you're on site, and you get to your computer and you look and you can see everything. You can see framing in the wall, you can see far more than you even knew was there. So, you know, the point about when you do this on site is to be as thorough as you can with taking your pictures, and that way you don't have holes, you know, of where you took pictures. So that's why it's real important to be real precise about how you take them, because nothing is worse than putting them all together and having a 3-foot section missing, and that just happens to be, you can see something headed up towards that 3-foot section and it's not there. So it's real important to get that so you can see every single bit of it, because once you get back, then you find out what you actually have. Here you have it. What you see on site is only the most vivid stuff that's going to show up no matter what. Everything else is there and you can't see it on site. So you're working blind effectively until you actually are able to edit the pictures. You really can't do much on site.